Hey guys, if this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Saprina, and today I'm really excited to be talking to you about something that I'm super passionate about, which is comedy. And in particular, comedy from the perspective of being a woman. Now, why do I care about this, and why should anybody care about this? Well, there is this cliche, which you probably have heard of, which is that women just aren't as funny as men. So there is obviously this bias, and there's a lot of pseudo biology research out there or suggestions that say that it's because a man needs to be funny in order to attract a woman, whereas a woman only needs to be pretty. But honestly, in my own experience, if that really was the case, then a lot more men would be single than is the case.
99, baby.
Men and women look for the same thing in the opposite sex. They say looks first and then sense of humor second.
Right.
But the thing is, men and women define sense of humor differently in the opposite sex. Women define sense of humor in a man as a man who makes them laugh, and men define sense of humor in a woman as a woman who laughs at their jokes.
Comedy, honestly, is one of the most powerful things we have as human beings. And when somebody is able to make you laugh, it is such an amazing experience. And it is actually very, very powerful. And this is a lesson I learned very early on as a child. I was moving around a lot because my dad was a diplomat. So we're moving from country to country. When I was about 5 years old, I was in Egypt from 5 to 9. And most of my friends at that time were African girls from West Africa. And they always had the funniest stories. Like either they would make it on the spot, or they would just have a little poem, or they would have a little song, and it would just be this thing where we would all be laughing by the end of it. So for me, comedy has always been about power and talent. It's never been something to be ashamed of or something to repress. However, growing up and becoming an adult, I've started to see how there is this tension between being a woman and actually embracing comedy. And in fact, there's a study that came out in 2019 that suggests that whenever women actually try to be funny in the workplace, it harms them. It actually causes people to lose faith and confidence in them. But when a man uses the exact same jokes in the exact same environment, it actually makes him look like more of a leader, like more of a cool person, somebody that you want to emulate.
Sometimes I feel like as women, we tend to downplay ourselves, we tend to dim our light. And we're kind of conditioned socially to be humble. And I grew up in Asian hip hop. I grew up being a huge hip hop fan, and none of my favorite artists are humble. They don't even know what that means.
However, as somebody who does this as a hobby, just for fun, I don't want to also put myself in a situation, obviously, where comedy can backfire against me. So I did ask a group of professional women what they thought about self-deprecating humor in a woman. And everybody said, don't use this. Don't go there. Because the minute you do that, you will be seen as lacking competence. Whereas if a man does it, he's just going to look humble. He's just going to look like he's very self-aware.
To what extent do you believe that you have the skills and knowledge to perform your job effectively? And then you just tick one of the boxes. Not at all, to some extent, very much so, don't know. What would you tick?
Don't know.
Okay.
And in fact, one of the suggestions I got was first, be very serious and show that you're extremely competent. And then you can try to inject humor, but only in personal situations, in private situations. Don't ever do it in public. And I'm sad to say it, but I have so many experiences that have demonstrated that to me time and time again. I remember when I was in college, I was taking this theater class where I was directing this short little funny skits with a friend of mine. And my teacher was this guy called Bob. And Bob was very, very serious. And he didn't find anything that we did funny. And at the end of my little show, I came up to him and I was like, what do you think? Because I was really excited about it. I thought it was really funny. A lot of other people thought it was funny. But Bob did not think it was funny. And he turned to me and he said, Saprina, comedy is serious business. And I just remember thinking, how can somebody who's so not funny be teaching me how to do comedy? And why is that accepted that just because he's a man, he will actually know how to do it? And in my personal experience, every woman that I've had as every woman that I've had as either a storytelling teacher or a comedy teacher has always been hilarious. As long as you stay within your gender role, you're funny. The minute you step out of it, however, watch out. It was 2009, I was living in New York City and I had committed the horrible crime of reading this book called The Game. So if you don't know The Game, it's basically a Bible for pickup artists written by this undercover journalist who goes and explores the entire society of pickup artists around the world who go and practice on how to pick up women. As a woman, you're obviously not supposed to read that because otherwise what the guys do on you doesn't work. And I happened to go to a rooftop party one of those days and actually meet somebody who's doing exactly those moves from the book verbatim on me. So at one point, I just pretended to go along with it just to see it because I was like, hey, this is interesting to actually experience this in real life. And then at one point, I did tell him, I was like, yo, man, like, I've read the book, like, this is ridiculous. And I laughed. And that guy went from being happy, smiley, nice, to a total freak. Like, he almost hit me. He almost hit my friend. We had to leave the party. And it really made me realize that there is so much aggression when you step out of your role, when you laugh at someone, even if it's true and they deserve it, which he obviously did. But the point is, there is so much tension when a woman uses laughter, when there is laughter. Because laughter actually is power. When we can laugh about something, it gives power back to us more than anything else. And if anything, that's the message I want to send in this video to other people who are not sure how to use humor. You don't necessarily have to use it all the time, but when you can use it because it is power. And here's the other thing, the more you use it, the more you free other people to use it. In fact, there was this great episode I was listening to on NPR with author Tahmima Anam, who's this Bangladeshi woman who's also lived in many different places, but who was so scared to write this new book, which is actually not a serious book, because she felt like she's not allowed to be funny, that she was not able to access humor in her life and really be seen as credible and funny. When in fact she can be both, and she is both, and so many, most of us in fact, are both. One thing I'm really excited about is I've been doing a lot of stand-up comedy, and I'm so excited that I'm seeing a lot of women, especially really quiet women, start to speak up and tell stories, and their stories are so funny. Like there's one girl, her name is Kira. Shout out to you, Kira, if you're watching this. She's only 21, and she talks about the experience of being a 21-year-old woman in today's age, and how at this time, pregnancy, you don't know whether you should be congratulating somebody when they announce that they're pregnant, or whether you should be saying, oh shit, I'm really sorry for you. And when she's told that story, which I would hope that we get to collaborate on that at some point, I just felt like, this is a story we never heard, because we don't hear women, we don't listen to women, we don't let women be seen. So we don't even actually know how funny women are, except if we are women ourselves, in which case we probably have lots of women friends and we can appreciate it. So yeah guys, thanks for watching this video. I'm very, very passionate about this, as you can see. I would love to hear from you though. I'd love to hear, if comedy is something that speaks to you, and if it's something that you've not allowed yourself to experience for yourself. Do you not allow yourself to be funny? And if so, why is that? What is that limiting belief that you're carrying with you and that is preventing you from accessing your whole self? Because you're human, I'm human, and comedy is what unites us all in this absurd journey of life. So if you like this video, please give me a like and subscribe for more content so you get notified each time I put up a new video. In the meantime, keep laughing, keep finding humor in things. Note it down if you're not ready to tell it yet. And if you'd like to share with me, I'm all ears. Take care. Bye-bye.